Sunday. The Wolves beat the Lakers by 3.
Was it even the best game of the weekend?
Whatever. It was,
honestly, I don't even think it was.
You're right. It was a really good
That's
game.
how good this weekend has been.
Yeah.
No,
it wasn't better. It wasn't a better finish than Aaron Gordon dunking.
It was an incredible
buzzer.
game. That's how good this weekend has been. I mean, there's been so many awesome moments all weekend.
I know that that ESPN writ large is going to focus on the Lakers going down 3-1. I would like to start by focusing on Ant Edwards putting up 43 in a game where he makes a huge statement. We already knew where he was as a player. He goes for 43. He has outplayed Luka Doncic in this series, even though he wasn't great in games 1 and 2. But he plays an absolute killer game at both ends of the court. And hits the free throws that are huge in this. I'm not sure how controversial that play was, but there's a play overturned, what they call foul on LeBron. But Ant was killer in this game. He sensed how important this game was. Relentless going to the basket. This is a guy who during the season, was really dedicated to the 3-pointer. Mm-hmm. Not in this game. In this game, Ant Edwards was hunting the hoop. I think he got there 17 times or something like that. And exactly what they needed. And they're down 10 going into the fourth.
Well, listen, in 2 games this weekend, because we haven't talked since before game 3, Ant Edwards played 86 minutes. He scored 71 points. He had 14 assists. He only had 3 turnovers.
Yep.
And he just dominated the fourth quarter of both games. Both games were sitting right there. The Lakers had a chance to get not one, but both of them. LeBron James had 2 incredible performances, especially today on a short turnaround. Luka Doncic was sick the other day. He played much better today. And Ant just beat him in the fourth quarter and just had more juice down the stretch. Some of that, I think, is because of how Chris Finch handled things compared to JJ. We'll get to that in a minute. But, that's the only thing you can take away from these 2 games, is that in the fourth quarter, in winning time, Anthony Edwards delivered.
16 points in the fourth of this game, hit 3 threes and got to the line 5 times, went 5 of 5 with the line.
4 of 7 from the floor. The Lakers had 19 points on 5 of 18 shooting. And, to me, obviously, you start with Ant's performance and you throw the numbers out there, especially the scoring, but the assists, the turnovers, all that. He did that without playing hero ball, which, again, the biggest criticism of Ant as a player at this point in his career is his tendency to lean into hero ball in these kind of situations. That's why I picked the Lakers to win this series, because I felt like, hey, if it's close, it's going to be advantage Lakers, because the Wolves really struggle in clutch situations. And Ant was I think it was a minus 51 in clutch situations this year with a high volume of shot attempts and a low field goal percentage. But there were a handful of plays in the fourth quarter where he doesn't get a shot, he doesn't get an assist, but he makes the play to start the ball movement to lead to a great shot. And that's the stuff Finch has been hammering on him. Hey, make the right read. If the reads get off the ball and kind of start the ball movement, do that. And he had 2 or 3 times where big plays that were hockey assists, and that to me is huge growth. He's not scared at the moment. Like, he wasn't scared last year when he's looking, talking trash to his idol Kevin Durant, outplaying KD and Devin Booker. Say what you want about the Suns, but the Suns were, I believe, favored in that series, and Ant was the best player in that series. Ant's not scared of anything. Sometimes he's too unafraid, I would say, or too thirsty for the moment. And this was like the perfect balance of taking over, but also, making the right plays and not feeling like he had to do everything himself. This was not hero ball. This was a patient but aggressive, just dominant performance down the stretch.
The Lakers got outscored by 10 points in the fourth quarter on Friday night. Ant was plus 7 in that quarter, scored 7 points. In this game, Lakers get outscored by 13 in the fourth quarter. Ant played the whole fourth in this one, plus 13. So he's plus 20 in the 2 third quarters. I'm sorry, the 2 fourth quarters, which basically have defined the series. That's the 2 games that could have gone the Lakers' way that go the Wolves' way. Now, granted, on Friday night, I know Luka was sick, and he was not himself. But that all the more reason why JJ Redick's decision making in the second half of this game is just. He coached this game like it was Game 7 of the finals.
Yeah.
Not like it was, Game 4 of the first round.
Well, the most remarkable thing was him saying they decided this in the locker room at halftime. Like, I'm sorry, if Tom Thibodeau did this and didn't pull a one starter the entire second half, the entire city of New York would have pitchforks out and would be coming for him, right? It would be the biggest story going. Like, I'm sorry. I understand in part what he's thinking. The Lakers roster is not good, all right? It's the reason I picked Minnesota to win the series. They're the deeper, better team outside their top couple of guys. However, the Lakers are up by 10 at the end of the third quarter. You've got LeBron James at 40 years old on a 36-hour turnaround. You've got Luka Doncic, who's coming off having food poisoning and thrown up in the locker room and need to come out late to start the second half on Friday. You cannot play those guys the entire second half without any break. Play Gabe Vincent for a couple minutes. Play Jared Vanderbilt for a couple minutes. Play Jordan Goodwin for a couple minutes. I'm not saying they got to play 20 minutes, but you got to give these guys a break, especially when you're up. It's one thing if they're down 10, and if you're going to go down 3-1, the season's probably over, and you got 2 days off after. So yeah, let's just throw the kitchen sink at it and go for it. In this situation, the Lakers had a dominant third quarter. They had the lead. You have to give these guys a break. And you could see as the fourth quarter went along, I thought Chris Finch played it perfectly. He brings in Naz Reid with 5 minutes to go. Naz Reid immediately gets 5 points, has a ton more energy than everybody on the court. Then he brings in Dante DiVincenzo. He has a ton of energy. He's flying around making plays. And yes, the 3 guys on Minnesota's bench, Nickeil Alexander-Walker and those 2 dudes, would be the 4th or 3rd best player on the Lakers. So that's inherently JJ's problem here. But at the same time, you have to try to play a couple other guys a little bit. This has never happened since 1988. You just cannot do that in this game.
I will say there were 6 players who played all 24 minutes in the second half. Ant was the 6th. And LeBron, honestly, made some incredible defensive plays down the stretch.
Unbelievable.
The one, like, I don't know, man, if you have to go to Hawkeye to catch the foul, the Hawkeye cameras to catch the foul, I don't know, that whatever. But, like, he had 2 or 3 just incredible defense plays. But Luka's only points in the last 7 minutes were 3 free throws on a total bailout foul. Julius Randle fouled him, but like Luka was going to throw up a terrible shot, and Randle just made it was a bad foul. Now they were forcing the ball out of his hands, but still, for Luka to go the last 7 minutes without scoring. And Luka had a rebound in the entire game.
And just 2 assists, by the way.
Yeah, and defensively, I mean, there are definitely some, like, Luka statue stand and watch type of moments on the defensive end. And look, there were multiple occasions last year where Luka played these kind of minutes in playoff games, right? Where he would play, he would take a couple minutes, maybe 2 or 3 minutes in the first half, and then he might play the whole second half. Like that happened a lot. These circumstances are different, right? Luka's, I mean, I don't want to harp on the conditioning stuff, but like the condition was a major issue early in the season. He had the longest injury layoff of his career. There's no possible way for him to be in peak shape. And then, as you mentioned, this guy was puking his guts out 48 hours ago. Spent his whole day yesterday, basically, if he wasn't getting treatment, sleeping. It's just.
It's also one thing if it's Luka and Ant, guys in their prime. It's another thing if it's the oldest player in the league on a 36-hour turnaround. That's crazy.
I don't care if they had 4 days off and they weren't sick and they weren't 40.
It's crazy. You can't do this.
You don't do it. You don't do it in Game 4 of a playoff series.
Look,
there's no qualification.
This was Game 7 for the Lakers. I think. Look, I still think the Lakers can win the series. You made the point. Up 10 going in the fourth. That's not the way you. It's not the way you coach. Listen, I'm saying in general, down 2-1 as the home team on the road, you have to win this game to give yourself a realistic chance to win the series. That's why I'm saying it's like game 7. You still don't only play 5 guys. By the way, just because I don't want this to get lost in the shuffle, you mentioned the foul on LeBron, on Anthony Edwards on the drive with 9 seconds to go. They call the ball out of bounds. The Wolves challenge it. Amazingly, the Lakers call timeout. Then the Wolves challenge it. Not only do the Wolves win the challenge, the Lakers lose their timeout. Had a big impact on the end of the game. But
that was a very unusual sequence that I don't think I've ever seen before.
Well, and the other thing that's fascinating about it is, McMahon will remember this, the reason this call happened today is because last year, Kyrie Irving fouled Jaden McDaniels in game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. The ball went out of bounds. The ball was off Jaden McDaniels because Kyrie fouled him. And because of that play, the NBA changed the rules. So this year, you can review for an approximate foul. And on this play, like LeBron hit Ant on the wrist. I thought it was a foul. I was a little curious, more than a little curious, to see if they'd actually call it on LeBron in that spot. But they did. I thought he hit him on the wrist. And that call can't happen last year. It just would have been off Ant. It would have been Laker ball. So it is fascinating that call, which put the Wolves in that hole last year, down 2-0, comes back around and gets them the ball up 1 with 2 free throws for Ant, helps them win this game.
One other thing I'm going to talk about going down the stretch. So the possession before that, the Lakers have the ball. Luka is bringing the ball up the court. Jaden McDaniels is draped all over him. Okay? Luka can barely move. He is exhausted. And he steps on Jaden McDaniels' foot and falls. Now, I text with some referees tonight. The short answer is if a player falls forward, most of the time it's a trip. But if the defender's foot is on the ground, sometimes the official can't see it, is long story short. And so after the game, JJ Redick says that should have been a foul and Luka should have gone to free throw. If it had been called a foul, it wouldn't have been egregious, but just in texting with some officials tonight, they just said it's a very hard call to make in real time when the defensive player's foot is on the ground.
Well, you'll be shocked to know that Luka agreed with JJ.
Well, here's a key thing that I don't know if everybody picked up. So Luka falls on the ground, has no choice but to call timeout. So the Lakers lose. They had 2 timeouts left, and those are their last 2. When he calls timeout, there's 17 seconds on the shot clock, which means and they hadn't gotten it over the half court yet. That does not reset. That they have until the clock strikes 15. Mm-hmm. So they had something less than 2 seconds.
You have 8 seconds to get the ball into the front court.
I'm sorry. Yeah, and if the clock hits 15, it's a violation. The ball was not across the line. So they go into the timeout and they've got to draw up a play that gets the ball into the front court. Because if the ball is inbound in the backcourt, unless it's a real quick touch pass, you run the risk of an 8-second violation. I don't know if this was explained on the broadcast. I don't know if it was, but I know
it was. They were on top of it.
I know that Ant Edwards knew it because Ant Edwards immediately came up to the referee and said they've got 1 second, right? And so the play, Luka comes to the half court line and kind of stops because he's afraid of catching it in the backcourt and being a backcourt violation. And I'm not sure who comes and gets the steal. Was it McDaniels again? So that is a bunch of different things happen. And here's one last thing I'm going to say about the events of the last few minutes of the game. The Lakers did get a great shot.
Oh yeah.
They
sure did.
They come down. Luka gets trapped. He kicks to LeBron. LeBron moves it to Austin Reeves. I know it was a tough shot for Reeves, but he gets a clean look. But here's the problem.
It wasn't that tough. It was an open corner 3.
Yeah, but he had
they'll take every time.
I agree.
100%. That's a
Here's
great look.
Here's the problem, guys. Let's say the ball goes in, and you go to overtime. What do the Lakers have left for overtime?
Well, at least they have a chance. But yes,
well, I agree
for sure.
And
by the way, the other thing we should talk about, the bellwether in these 4 games has been Jaden McDaniels. The 3 games he's played well, the Wolves have won. He has been unbelievable in this series. And it has been a huge moment for him. A guy who's been up and down, I think, to be charitable at times during the regular season. And he has been unbelievable in the 3 wins in this series.
And Reeves hasn't been great.
No. I mean, he's okay today, but
coming into this series, the Lakers needed their 3 stars to be top 5, preferably top 4. And I think Ant has been better than Luka.
Ant's been the best player in the series.
LeBron has been great on defense the last couple games. He was good on defense also in game 2. He made some plays, but he's been great on defense in game 3 and 4. 38 points in game 3. He and Luka are probably 2 and 3. But then it's a ways before you get. I mean, even Naz Reid.
The depth of the Wolves has shown through. It's shown through in the way Chris Finch operated the game. He believed in his bench. And look, it's fair to question the depth of the Lakers, but Chris Finch had levers to pull. And JJ Redick at halftime of what essentially was Game 7 decided he had no levers to pull. And that's the difference in the series at the moment, beyond Ant's brilliance at the end of the game.
I don't know how you can make any decision that you're going to do for the entire second half.
Well, I agree. I'm not saying that's logical.
I don't think you can say we're going to trap the pick and roll. We're going to play we're going to press. I mean, every decision's got to be dynamic in a playoff.
That was why I thought that was an unbelievable quote when I saw it.
Although you didn't mention Julius Randle, who's having a very good season.
He's been awesome too.
He's been awesome. By the way, he only rested 32 seconds in the second half, and I've not seen Julius Randle play better defensively than he did.
He's been an unbelievable monster.
I mean, he committed the one terrible foul on Luka, but
listen,
he was really competing defensively.
The Wolves went 18-3 down the stretch, and I know that the schedule was not good, but they still
a certain
went
team had a similar record down the stretch last year. They had a pretty good playoff run.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'll point something else out. The Pacers went 14-4 down the stretch,
and they look like it.
And they have been impressive. And
I'm waiting to see the Pacers in the second round against a different opponent, but they've been very, very impressive.
The Cavs look great.
Well, again, settle down, Cavs corner.
We haven't talked about the Cavs at all, but
we could skip right past that.
Look great.
I don't know.
Cavs Pacers talk starting next weekend.
What's your favorite team? Comment below, and if you liked the video, please leave a like. This really helps the channel grow and brings you even more content. Oh, and if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button and activate the bell to receive all notifications. With each game, we noticed that the NBA is getting more competitive every day, and all the teams are looking for reinforcements to win the championship. And only here can you follow your favorite team daily with incredible content from different sources. Here on the channel, there are new videos every day with analysis, curiosities, and the best moments in basketball. That's it for today, folks. Thanks for following along. The NBA doesn't stop, and neither do we. Until the next video. NBA, the passion that connects us.